Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome to the show today. We are joined once again here by Lina Carpenito from Leaping Lotus Wellness Center. And she's based out of Elmwood Park, New Jersey. And she can help you in so many different ways. That's leapinglotusfit.com. And it's Leaping Lotus Wellness Studio. Welcome back to the show today. How are you?
I'm great, Jill. How are you?
I'm doing well. Please introduce yourself and your studio. I know you say it's a place for everyone.
Everyone. So my name is Lina Carpenito. Welcome, guys. So Leaping Lotus is a place for everyone. It's really a place for community. It's a place for learning. It's a place for growth. It's a place for healing. It's a place for fun. And, you know, I just keep my doors open, especially now since we're I don't want to say post-pandemic, but kind of
almost there. Yeah, almost
turning the corner. Lately been getting a lot of phone calls of just yesterday, you know, someone called me, this is an example, and she said, I just got invited to a wedding in Houston. And she said, I never thought about flying because I haven't left my house in a year and a half. And I'm afraid. And so there's a lot of that happening now. So I just want to let everybody know that that's completely normal, and we're all trying to readjust and find our bearings, so to speak, with this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the stuff that's coming my way now.
Perfect. Well, Leaping Lotus Wellness Studio, you focus on the mind, body, soul, and so much more, from health coaching, from life coach, you name it, you do it. What did you want to focus on for today?
So this comes up a lot, and I think I talked about this last time, and it's probably good to kind of just, you know, break it down a little bit more today, because some of the questions I got last time were, well, what's the difference between health coaching and yoga therapy? You know, what's the difference between all of this stuff? And so the answer is, do they blend and mesh together? Yes, there's definitely overlap in all of them. But health and wellness coaching is really like, I am your cheerleader. I am your mentor. Like, I'm here for you in a non-judging way. So it's totally different. Here's the biggest difference. Like, when you're calling a therapist, right? A typical therapy session usually focuses on what's wrong, right? Here, we're focusing on what are my positive things and how can I make them better and how can I strengthen myself. So the sessions really are like, I just need a little help and direction in my life. So it's not the negative of we're going to fix what's wrong, but we're going to build you up. Does that make sense, Jill?
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. So that's and is there crossover in health coaching into yoga therapy? 100%.
Yeah.
The modalities in yoga therapy are really a little different. Most of the sessions are a little bit physical. People generally come in with, like, you know, something. There's a physical ailment usually that brings them there. Or a very deep, I don't know, like emotional trauma that they can't get, a childhood trauma, something that they are really struggling with, that they've tried other things. Usually I'm not the last resort, but you know, usually they've gone the traditional route and nothing worked. That's kind of usually how people find me. So does that make sense? Did I answer that question okay?
Absolutely. Now, obviously you mentioned yoga. So could you talk a little bit about the yoga you do and the benefits of it? And you also do group classes as well as individual sessions? Okay.
Right now, I mean, we're just gearing back up to small groups, just like 2, 3, 4 people. And I'm hoping I'm going to let it take shape on its own. You know, I'm not going to worry about it. But virtual is an option for anyone. I know that there were some people that weren't sure about the connection with the virtual. We talked about that last time. Look, guys, is it different? Yes, it is. I'm not going to pretend. But you know what? Like, here's the cool thing. Jill and I are building a rapport right now.
Yep, exactly. That's what it's all about, right? Getting to know someone face to face, in a sense.
Sure, it's different. Sure, it's different. It's not, but like, I don't know, maybe someday I'll be in a room with Jill and that would be really cool. But for right now, we're like vibing, and you know, we're just, this is what it is. It's definitely a new way. So embrace it. It's different, but it does work.
Good.
And so the groups are small. I tend to really focus more on therapeutics of yoga and the yoga experience. So in other words, I very typically don't do, I don't care if my clients can't do a split. Like that's not my agenda for them.
Flexibility aspect of the yoga you're worried about. Yep, got it.
And, but it's like a keep it real. It's very keep it real. Like, everybody comes and a typical class of mine looks like I have somebody in a chair because she can't get down on a mat. I've had people in wheelchairs because they can only move their upper body, and it's what it is. And it all works. I think that's what makes me a little bit unique because it's a little challenging to handle that, but that's what I love. That's my favorite part of it. I love that because it brings people together and we're all walking the same place. We're all doing the same thing. So it's really about community, and that's what brings like the therapeutic aspect to it all. So it's not, I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I don't have my outfit, my yoga outfit, or, I didn't, right? Like dress for, yeah. Because it tends, or like they see all this stuff, there's stuff posted everywhere and they're like, oh, I could never do that. And then
look like that. Can't move like that. Yeah, it's a little intimidating and there's anxiety and fear that come along with it.
Totally. And I get questions like that all the time. I could never. And I'm like, well, what can you do? And my very typical answer is, can you do this? And they look at me like, yeah. And I'm like, great, then you can do yoga.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And what are the therapeutic benefits that you teach people about from yoga? Would you mind giving us some examples?
Yeah. The biggest thing is stress reduction. It is the biggest thing, especially now. The feeling of overwhelmed that I get from people, of overwhelmed, and every single person I talk to, it's crazy. My plate is so full. I don't have a minute to breathe. I don't have time. I mean, it's just one after another. It's really, we are all overloaded. And so giving people the opportunity to do nothing, that's a gift.
Yeah.
So I really love to they don't know how to relax. When we're so used to just go, that I see the fear. I see I can't relax. And so it takes a little bit because there's this whole like thing going on. Like, I don't even know what that feels like. I have no idea. Usually by the end, a lot of people fall asleep, which is great. That's a whole, if they're sleeping and snoring, cool. But it's those little gifts, like if they can leave with, oh my God, I feel better, I feel lighter, or I'll get a phone call the next day. I slept through the whole night. You have no idea. Whole night, amazing. Win. So those are the little benefits. It's baby steps.
Got it. And Leaping Lotus, now I know you're based in New Jersey, right? But literally you can work with people anywhere all over the country, the world, right? It's limitless. And tell me a little bit about your background. What brought you into this field?
I had an injury, a mysterious injury, but I was super young, really weird. But it's funny because those are the kind of clients I get. And now I understand why, because it's just strange. I had a very, very strange thing, a compression fracture in one of my vertebrae. And I was like 20, I don't know, 1 maybe. And no one had an answer. It was one of those things where like, doctor, the meds were just making me feel sick. They didn't make me feel better. And I found a doctor who kind of got me, and he said, okay, I got you as good as you're going to get. He said, you really need to get yourself into a yoga class because I don't want to backslide. So when you're finally feeling better and Like I never ever want to go feel that pain again. That was me. I was like, oh, I don't care. I'll do anything. So I went, and that was the beginning of it all. And then one thing led to another, and I don't know, here I am. Because I saw what it did for me.
Yeah.
You know, that was my truth. And I think that was my gift, because I saw what it did for me. And I see what it can do for other people if you accept, you know, really work with it. You know, it's different. When you come to yoga with your heart, it's a very different experience than coming to yoga with your body, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally different. So I embrace the overall aspects of it. You know, like that's great if you were able to stretch your hamstrings. You know, I mean, it's all good. I'm happy for you.
Mhm.
But when somebody has an experience where like tears or just complete joy, you know, where they just released something, whatever that something is, that's the very unique gift that yoga brings. And that's the beauty of the work.
Now, is it just for humans, or what about animals like dogs? I hear you doggy. Hey, hey, I'm working from my home studio today. I have kids, so if you hear a kid screaming,
I mean, this is what we all do, right? Do you hear the dog?
yeah, of course. I think he wants to come on. Maybe he has something to say. Maybe he's channeling and he feels your energy, like, Mom, I want to be a part of this.
When I first started teaching virtually, it was the weirdest thing. She couldn't figure out, but she would end up falling asleep.
Oh my goodness.
It was the weird, and that's when I was just like, oh, maybe this does work for dogs. I had no idea, and she didn't know what it was. I would see her, she would like be pacing and wasn't sure. I started teaching in the beginning of the pandemic, meditation classes online, just because my studio, closed, you know, and so everybody was just like, you know, we were like this community, and then all of a sudden we lost each other. So I was trying to bring everybody back together, and I was teaching online, and there would be like people snoring, dogs snoring. Like it was just,
Go with the flow, yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I noticed that, Jill. It's funny. She started falling asleep.
Wow.
I don't know my voice, or if she really feel. I do think they feel, you know, like they're connected to like an energy. She would be out.
Wow. Fascinating. Leaping lotus. Let's talk about, what does that mean? What does the leaping lotus symbol mean there in your beautiful graphic?
That's a good question. So actually, this came to me in my sleep. Seriously, seriously. I was dreaming about it. I woke up and I wrote it down. I'm like, oh my God, maybe this is it.
Wow.
And and it was this whole vision. It's active passive, right? So it was kind of like, because my hashtag is be well, be fit, be free. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And it's exactly like this. So leaping is the active part, and then the lotus is the stationary part, right? So it's that active passive, yin yang, you know. So it's like, so it's that two component, right? We can't be active all day long, and we can't be passive all day long. So it's kind of really my unique name for balance. It's a big long story to say that, but
That's awesome. Well,
and,
also go ahead.
and then it's funny that my name is Lina. And then my Leela comes from India. I was given the name Leela a bunch of years back, because it means play. And they gave the name, yeah, because it's play. And it could be play of anything, play of consciousness, play of time, play. And it was actually given to me. So it was kind of an honor.
Yeah.
That's why I use it. I use it to honor the name and to honor how it was given to me. So it's a tongue twister, Lina, Leela.
Well, unfortunately, at this time, we must wrap up to say goodbye. So tell us the best forms of contact for you.
Yeah, so you can call or text at 201-903-5028. You can email me at leapinglotusfit@gmail.com, or check out my website at leapinglotusfit.com.
Perfect. And on Facebook or Instagram, social media?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, Leaping Lotus Wellness Studio.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your time and looking forward to the next time we speak.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.